Okay, it is 6:04 on Tuesday, June 17th. And I'm calling to order the town council's regular meeting. First item on the agenda is a pledge of allegiance / and then followed by a moment of silence. So let's stand and do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is all.
Oh, is that we just saw Ron? Okay. I saw you look out the window, but I didn't know whose car that was. Okay.
I've got my red light and blue on tonight.
Here she comes, we'll just wait before we move on. All we've done is said the pledge of allegiance.
Oh, it's good time.
It's good time.
Rolling from the Irish, just for me.
Out there, a few minutes to get yourself arranged.
You guys can keep going on.
Okay, well,
Keep going, I can catch up.
okay. The next item on the agenda is declaration of conflicts of interest. So, does anyone, if anyone has a conflict of interest, you should declare it. So I'll start with April.
No.
Paul?
No.
Me? No. Misty?
No.
Valerie? No. Okay.
Sorry, TikTok. Silence
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is that? Okay, next item is the consent agenda. And we have to reapprove the minutes of January 21st and February 18th. After the town council had approved them, I went back and made some changes that I had not looked at them earlier. Made some changes and, now we're reapproving the minutes, and that's what's on the consent agenda. So I need a motion to, approve the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda, which is approval of the minutes from January 1st, 2025 and February 16th, 2021.
February
18th.
Okay.
So there were a few typos still on.
Even on the ones that have been read,
Well, the ones that were on.
SharePoint, so you put up the SharePoint, the amended ones?
I corrected some of them.
It should be all fixed now.
Oh, okay, when I looked at it today, I just a couple of, like, and a couple of words that didn't.
The
one you see. But I went in and noted them, and if I didn't understand, I would put a question.
All right. Okay, so we have a motion and need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye, yes, okay.
And I'm saying aye to, the minutes of 1/21/25. I was not in attendance in the meeting of 2/18.
Okay. Review of checks and invoices. So those were online. Had everybody reviewed them? Have any questions? Okay. All right. As I said, this is gonna go pretty quick today, I think, make everybody happy. The planning commission chair is not here today to do a report. She said she didn't have anything to report, because haven't voted on anything in the last planning commission meeting. And then, Gene, I excused him from the meeting tonight and next month, both. And normally we would have had some report from, prepared by Shyla that we could have looked at to give us the update that would have, that Gene would have presented, but, Shyla had a family emergency today and she said she had to leave. And so we don't have any report on, projects going on, any development going on in town, where we stand on those.
Can I have a question?
Yes,
Have there been any recent zoning changes?
no,
Okay.
we have we have a zone change request that just got filed, and it's going to be at planning commission next month. It just came in yesterday. I think they brought it in yesterday.
And where is that?
That is, the property. after you pass Buffalo Trails heading toward Desert Gardens.
Yeah.
There's that big empty land.
Yeah.
Before you get to Sheep Bridge Road.
Mhm.
They have, partitioned off a section of the land there that sits along the highway, on, Highway 9. And they want to rezone that commercial. And so that just came in yesterday.
Isn't that up for sale currently?
On the other side of the highway, there's a piece of property for sale, but not that property.
Okay,
No, it hasn't been for sale for years.
okay.
But it is currently rural residential.
Yes, and but they just partitioned off a piece along the highway.
Do you know how many acres?
No, I don't know offhand how many acres that is. And they've asked, but it is from Buffalo Trails all the way to, there's that piece of property there on the corner of Highway 9 that's owned by somebody else. It's from Buffalo Trails to that property line. And then it goes down it goes back a little bit so that they have room to build something, but it's not really deep.
Thank you.
And that'll be on for a public hearing, next planning commission meeting. Not tomorrow, planning commission meeting, in July. Okay, so, and I don't know offhand if there's anything else for me to report. I did want to talk to you guys somewhat about the lighting, at, the gas station. What are we gonna do about, what can we do about the lighting on the canopy? I'm still getting complaints. I got another this morning. And I get at least one every other day. And I've talked to them more than once.
Has Gene approached them about their willingness to bring it into conformance with our new
I didn't even have Gene do it. I just talked to myself.
are they willing to do it with some assistance from us?
They didn't get that far. They have not seen the new ordinance. They asked me to send it to them. And, I haven't done that yet. But since I have to talk to them about the new complaint, I will bring a copy with me when I talk to them.
I think that's the solution is
I would tell you,
to help bring them into our current compliance, which means we may have to make a contribution to that process.
because I have talked to them, about my suggestions to fix the lighting problem. And, nothing has happened yet. So I will continue, and I told them this is not over. This topic will continue.
So what would be your suggestions to fix it?
Well, number one, all those lights that are underneath the canopy, those lights, if you go down, and I went down and I took a video, I videoed walking around the Chevron station in Springdale. And in Springdale, they have a cover that goes all the way around the lights that are underneath, and they come down. And so it probably extends this much below the light fixture.
Okay.
And so I showed them that. And I pointed out that at, the Exxon station there are no lights on poles. There's only one light that is a street light. That is, by the one in Springdale.
Mhm.
And, and the lights underneath the store in Springdale look the same as what they have here. But the one in Springdale does not have that strip of LED lights completely surrounding the thing. And it doesn't have those two icons, the words Chevron and the Chevron icon that are lit up. And those are on all night long. And I talked to them about turning them off. And they've explained that, Chevron's safety rules require the lights to be on. And I'm like, okay, but do they have to be that bright? I mean, they're on all night in Springdale and they're not that bright. And someone else told me that they had actually watched them. They were sitting there watching that one night and they dimmed the lights and then turned them back up so they could see that they dimmed, but I can't remember who told me that. So I will continue talking to them. And I think we'll slowly but surely get this. But what is the complaint is, those who have, they cannot see the stars. The lights are so bright that they cannot see the stars. And my whole thing is that if you're coming to an area where we would like to have dark skies and you want the tourists to come and the tourists are coming because of the dark skies, then adjust your lights for all the tourists that you want to stop at your station. Or at whatever other businesses get built. And don't impact the businesses that were here before you that were relying on the dark sky, because some of the complaints are from businesses that are already here.
Right, or impact residents who have had quiet enjoyment of their backyard.
Well, there's that.
No longer can do that.
There's
So,
that, but, and he's had those complaints and had those complaints, but the ones from the business owners are there.
right,
And I thought that might, that was a new, wrinkle in that even the pre-existing business owners are now complaining about the lights at night. So. Wanted to know.
No, I was curious, if they have the ability to do them, I don't know why they don't, why alien is.
So-
business against the town? It's so silly.
So I will go over there one night and make arrangements to meet them over one night and try to get in and see it for myself instead of relying on somebody else's word that they had seen them get. I need to see it for myself. Okay, so was that your open forum? Because open forum is the next thing on the agenda. Was that your open forum, Mark?
I have a question here.
Okay. Okay, so open forum is next on the agenda, so do either of you, I or Mark, do either of you have something you'd like to talk about to the town council? No? Okay.
I'll probably have another question.
Okay, well, we'll have public comment on these things. Okay, council comments.
I don't have anything.
Paul?
Well, I was hoping Chad would be here, but it looks like
Oh, that's right, you said he's gonna be.
he hasn't been here for a while because he had a conflict. And he said now that it's summertime, he was gonna be able to make it, but obviously he didn't make it
Sorry,
tonight.
who?
Chad, he's our fire
Oh, yes, yes,
representative.
yes.
He was gonna give us an update, but probably next month. Since Gene isn't here, I had a question for Gene, but I'll go to you because
Maybe I know the answer.
well, you're the responsibility for enforcing the code. And we're talking about Labrie. I've got some flags out there that are illegal signs.
And he was given we got a complaint, we already had a complaint filed, and he's already, the code enforcement officer's already went out to talk to them. And when he talked to them, I think it was Thursday, and he gave them a week to take them down. And so that would be the day.
Remind, a week, 7 days, remind Matt that give them a written notice and you got 5 days and then the town can remove. Yeah, because if he's asked them to do it verbally, then he delays, then you gotta go back and get the written notice, and that week turns into 2 weeks.
Now, where did you say where does it say we have to give written notice?
It says it, in the provision on the ban, that we have the right to take them down after 5 days notice.
In the flag, this is in the sign
Sign-
ordinance,
sign
inside the
As well as
sign.
as well as the complaint, the way.
Yeah.
Okay, because the way that complaint process is going to be, that's on, that the complaint process that's in the code right now is also on for a public hearing, next month. They'll have 2 public hearings, they'll have a public hearing on
But
things,
currently-
and that is going to be removed from the
But that's currently on it, so it's best.
52.9.
52.94. That's fine. But,
Just to make sure, that's.
the other thing, if you're talking about that formal complaint procedure that's in chapter 2, this was not filed using the formal complaint procedure. This complaint was not done
Okay,
using.
so I just understood that in order to file it, they had to file it the way it was in our. office.
No, we had that whole discussion in a town council meeting and in a closed meeting about the proper way to file complaints, and it's not just the formal complaint procedure. Right? We had that whole discussion.
yes. You can write a letter, it has to be in writing, though.
No,
It doesn't even.
no, it doesn't even have, I get text messages, I get calls, I get all sorts of ways that I get complaints.
I just send an email to Matt and then Matt responds.
And that's in writing, what you sent me.
Yeah, but-
Well, the question I have is how do you see us going on to private property and removing signs without a writ of abatement?
Without what?
Writ of abatement?
It provides in the ordinance
I
that.
know the ordinance says it, but I'm questioning whether we have the property right.
Private property still, right?
Because it's an illegal sign, but,
I think we can and should, but we could be pushing on that issue.
That they could object and say, you can't come on private property.
Yeah, it's private property, don't take the sign out.
But then how do you enforce any
then
ordinance,
you have to,
any code?
We'd have to file an action in court.
we'll file an action in the court to
And get a order, writ of abatement, writ authorizing us to go on property.
They
So
also
we
have
have to
a,
be ready to do that.
they also have a RV park there.
Well, they got their, that, we also got that complaint already. And the code enforcement officer went over and talked to them, and they said they had been given a permit. And I talked to Gene about it. And said, did you really give them permission? And he said, yes, and he quoted the code to me that gave him the permission.
During
And-
construction, right?
I'm sorry, they're under construction, but I looked at the code and I said, well, that's not what my code says. And it turned out he was looking at the, permission to use an RV in the residential zone.
Yes.
And the RV, in the two different codes, the standards for which someone can get, use the RV during construction are exactly the same. The only difference is if it's in the residential zone, the zoning administrator can give them the permit, and if it's in the commercial zone, it has to go to the planning commission. That's the only difference between the two. So I told Darlene, put this on the agenda, it's gonna be on the next planning commission agenda for a permit for the RV to be used during construction. And that's the next thing they're about to get started on, are those cabins.
Well, one more quick comment, if somebody's violating the city ordinance, and you put them on formal notification, they're violating it, couldn't you find them if they don't correct the problem themselves?
Yes, and our code says you can, but Matt gave them 7 days to take the sign down.
No, and if they don't do it, then.
Then you can find them.
Yes.
Although, as Paul was saying, that this needs to be in writing to them.
Yeah. No, I
The
agree.
code enforcement.
No.
Decision to them needs to be in writing.
and also take a look at it, because they may actually be on the right of way for.
You don't,
It's hard to tell.
yeah, from where they're located, it's like sitting right on the border. So the two things, which was the flags and the RV, we've already got the code, we've already got the complaint, the code enforcement officer has gone to do what's necessary. And so the flags should be coming down in a couple of days, and then the RV is going to be on the next planning commission agenda to get the permit. Okay,
Great.
from planning commission instead of the zoning administrator.
I'll send my other comments to the appropriate agenda item.
Okay. All right, so, did
Liz,
we,
any involved for comments?
oh, sorry,
I do have one,
okay,
and it's, but most people are saying it doesn't really matter, but I just remind everybody about the 4th of July celebration. It's, they're doing it a little different. We're gonna have some of it, a concert on the, 3rd from 8 to 10. And then the regular Independence Day celebration, one of our traditional ones, that is 6:30 a.m. to 11:30 on the 4th itself.
6:30, I did.
What's the
It's
breakfast
pickleball.
thing? It's pickleball, it's too hot, pickleball.
it's too hot.
So that was, Val led into my next comment Valerie did, is that we're having a pickleball tournament and you need to sign up for it. There's a flyer on Facebook that tells you about Scott Robbins is running it. There's also an Independence Day parade for the children But it's also, they're gonna do a dog parade and they're gonna do, you can ride a motorcycle. I mean, anybody who wants to, if they have a tractor they wanna dress up or whatever, you can do whatever.
And I've been asked to be a judge for the pet parade.
Yes,
I
the
think
pet parade, I
I
think
think it's cats
And
and domesticated.
I talked to champion adults that are excited about that one, because they're like, I put sparkles on my dogs. And then there's a cornhole tournament as well. So there's a lot happening. I don't see the main flyer on our Facebook page. I just asked, where it was. Crystal, do you have the main flyer yet? Have they given you the main flyer?
She just emailed it to me, she doesn't know, but she just emailed it to me, I'm gonna email that tomorrow.
Okay, cause I have the, yeah, I just have, just the pickleball and the parade and the cornhole that I'm looking at on here. But just a reminder, it's out there, we are accepting donations, and this is for business people too, just in case I missed them. Do it from our business owners, from our residents, whoever wants to, for our auctions, and be ready to bid and have a good time.
What options?
They have a silent auction again.
Oh.
Like we had before, there's some, I think there's, I don't think they're calling them a raffle, but there's some different things you can get prizes for. Different prizes for the pet event, for the parade, for the cornhole, for the pickleball. Things like that. And that was my little comment, that's all.
So the doggies come to the event, or do they?
Yeah, our parks are
My
dog
golden
friendly.
retriever will love it.
Our parks are dog friendly.
Just
and
be
animal.
sure that they have to pick up after.
Yes,
their
we
dog.
already picked up after your dog.
If we're all running around,
I'm gonna see that.
Yeah, and we have things to, Crystal, they have the hoops can be things that.
If they're gonna be in the pet parade, they have to fill out a waiver.
okay,
Okay, and we need to fill out waivers for the.
I have
pet
the
parade.
waiver, you need it.
That's not on the Facebook page either, it's the pet parade, but I knew about it, so. There's lots of already donations, Valley's been out giving donations and.
I'm just thinking of having to get up there at 6:30, that's all.
I'm sure, I'm sure we can
Okay.
find somebody to bring a coffee station and you can have some coffee.
Okay,
I'm gonna have Dr. Pepper, so you put that.
that's what I've got, okay. Okay, so Valerie, did you have any comments?
I do not.
Okay, all right, then we're going to move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the public hearing. And we need to accept public comment. We are going to be adopting the amended budget for this current fiscal year that ends in 2 more weeks. And then adopting the proposed budget for the new fiscal year that starts in 2 more weeks. So, I need a motion to close the public hearing and to close the open meeting and open a public hearing.
Okay, motion to close the open meeting and open the public hearing.
I'll say.
And I need to say that the 4th of July is not me, it's Stacy and Darcy, and they're doing a fantastic job. She seconded, she said, well,
Okay.
Is that very emotional?
yeah,
Okay, so, I will do a roll call vote, so Valerie?
Yes.
Misty?
yes.
Me, yes, Paul?
Yes.
April? Okay, so, any public comment on the proposed agendas, either one from our 2 audience members? Any questions, any comments? Have you even looked at the proposed
Do
budget?
you want me to be honest?
Yeah,
No.
okay, I do want you to be honest,
Yes.
thank you.
I wish I could say yes, but I can't.
Okay. All right, so if there's no comment on either of the budgets, then we will, no public comment on either budgets, we will close the public hearing. Public hearing. Go back to open meeting.
Motion to close the public hearing and open the open meeting.
Second. Okay, I'll do a roll call voting, but I'm not sure we have to in order to close the public hearing, but we'll do so. Valerie,
Yes.
Misty,
Yes.
me, yes, Paul, and April. Okay, all right, so on to the action items. So Paul and I were discussing the vote on the 2 budget resolutions. And we are proposing that we move them to later in the meeting. There is one thing we would like to discuss in the closed meeting that we will be having, and then we will come back and vote on them after we come back from closed meeting.
And I'm assuming this first item is amending the 2024.
Yes, that's not 25, 25, that's 24, 25. Yes. And the reason we're doing both of them later is that what we're going to discuss, in the closed meeting we don't know which budget is going to affect. So that's why we're gonna wait and do both of them later. Okay, so that moves us on to item number 3, which is approval of the, purchase of 3 water shares that involve shares of the Virgin Canal Company. So, before we move on, before we discuss that, is there any comment from the peanut gallery?
She was referring to you.
I was referring to you, any comments about us potentially buying these, 3 water shares? No? Okay. Now, we discussed this at a previous meeting. We discussed purchasing these, water shares, and this is merely a, confirmation of this purchase. This agreement here is merely,
Yeah.
what's the word I'm looking for?
Basically ratifying it and memorializing it.
Okay. You guys have any comments, any questions? If not, then,
I move for approval, I move for approval of item 3, which is approval of Virgin Canal Company water shares purchase agreement.
Second.
okay, and authorize me to sign the,
And authorize the mayor to sign said agreement.
okay,
Confirm second.
right? And, all right, and I will talk with. I would prefer that this go in the next fiscal year, and I will talk with Lee about the closing date and fill in the blank for the closing date. Okay, all right. What? Thank you very much. I forgot. Okay, I have a motion and a second. Who was the second? You were, let's see. Okay. April. Paul.
Aye.
Jean, yes. Misty. Yes. And Valerie.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Next item on the agenda is to approve the employment agreement with, Mark Myers as our town manager. And I did have 2 changes. There was things we talked about at the last meeting. And I had 2 changes that were made. They were made on page 6 of the agreement, of the employment agreement. And, I can talk about them very quickly, or, we may need to do it in a closed meeting. What's your recommendation there, Pete? There were the 2 changes.
Yes.
To the, should we do that in the closed meeting to discuss those 2 changes to this employment agreement and then vote on it, come back out of the closed meeting and vote on it? Okay, right? Well, we're just wrapping up everything that's going into the closed meeting. That brings us to item number 5, which is approve the resolution expressing the town's appreciation and gratitude to Team Rubicon for their public service to the town of Virgin. And Paul prepared this, and I appreciate that, Paul, because I have forgotten all about doing such a resolution, so I really appreciate that you did this. So, does anyone have any discussion on that before we approve the resolution?
Public comment first.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. You guys keep me on my toes because I keep forgetting what I need to, forgetting things with the process on the meeting. So does either of you have any comments about our resolution, supporting this resolution, expressing our appreciation to Team Rubicon.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Aren't you glad you came to the meeting? You're the only audience and we're putting you on the hot seat every single item on the agenda.
That's happened many times over the years.
Okay.
I'm used to it.
Okay, so, any comments from the town council?
They did a good job.
I
Here,
know you did too.
It was impressive.
Yeah. I did. And, my comment, would be, although it's not in the resolution, thanks should go out to the hard work of Randy and, I mean, they put in a lot of work on this. And so, even though its names are not in this resolution, they should know that we're also thankful. So I move for approval of resolution R 2025-F. Resolution of the town version expressing the town's appreciation and gratitude to Team Rubicon for their public service to the town of Vernon.
I'll second.
All in favor? Yes.
Aye.
I will say one thing, that they enjoyed working in Version so much that they're going to come back in November and do another project. And now, one thing that they really liked is, we had initially planned that they were going to have cots and sleep in the gym at the church, the new town hall. And they then got there and saw the building and asked, can we each sleep in an office? And, because they were the offices, and I was like, well, okay. So they were all excited because they all got their own bedroom. And they went around and they took pieces of paper and they put their name on it. And they put each door. So that's how they knew that's the office that you had was. They were so excited about it. And I told them, I said, when you come back in November, we're gonna be in the building.
Do they add their neighbors with their names on? Can we go up and do
They
that?
took them down and threw them in the trash. But I told them, they come back in November,
That's great.
we're gonna be in the building and,
Sleep in the gym.
they're gonna have to sleep in the gym.
That's so much better than sleeping in a camp with 40 other people.
Which
They
is
can
what they
put their
said.
tents up in the gym too if they want their own room.
They can also put it in the park. So, depending. Okay,
If I have one more thank you that I would like to say.
Yes.
Sorry.
go ahead.
Take a second. I would just like to thank all the council members and the mayor for the hard work you're putting in on behalf of the town. And a lot of you are running for reelection, thank you for doing that too, because I know it's very time consuming. And, I will, yeah, agree. No, thank you so much for what you guys do.
You're very kind.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda, item number 6 is, to approve this BMX track lease agreement. Michael, who runs the BMX track, has been asking for us to do a lease agreement with him. There are things that he would like to do over there at the, some improvements he would like to do beyond what we already got money for in the grant. And when he goes and tries to talk with various companies such as USA BMX, they will not talk to him because he doesn't have a lease agreement and he can't prove that he's running it. So he has asked us to do this lease agreement, and this lease agreement came from you, Heath.
I'm just
Okay.
gonna ask for that.
This is Heath's doing. So, anything you guys would like to talk about with regard to this lease?
I would point out that we do need to, on section 8B.
8 what?
8B, decide
AB,
what,
that's the one, okay.
limits of liability insurance we're gonna require of them. I think this is important because of premise liability issues. We have riders, if they get injured at facility, we're landlord. We could have some premise liability, and I want to make sure that there's sufficient insurance to protect it. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that what your concern was?
Well, yeah, that's all I was explaining. I don't know what the current standards are now, what's been used. I've used in the past 5 million, I forget 1 million. per occurrence, but I don't know what the costs are. I don't know if that's just the standard is used. So I kind of rely on Keith to say, yeah, that's within range, that's not.
Yeah, well, I look at the cost compared to what financial gain the tenant may get from this, and whether it's really cost effective. Normally, I would say that we probably would want a 1 million per incident, 2 million aggregate type coverage. I don't know that I would have a problem with it at least being 500 per incident and 1 million aggregate. I don't know, I mean, I guess someone could lose their life racing.
Well, considering the nature of use, I'd almost want a higher aggregate.
Well, it can be, yeah, oh, I see what you're saying, higher aggregate,
Because the multiple potential occurrences.
I get that, but then you gotta look at what what it costs.
Yeah.
To track, the
Yeah.
operator to get that type of insurance. Now, he probably gets some through, USA,
Right.
BMX.
That's who does their insurance, so he would have to contact them, and we actually probably have a copy of it somewhere.
We
that we
probably,
should have a copy.
yeah, I mean, let's not undersell ourselves, and so if he can get. You know, as part of their membership dues for an additional rider, in membership, they get coverage. Track coverage, then let's see what that coverage is.
And the rent's only $1, so.
Exactly.
So he's getting it for pretty much free, so
Right.
I can't imagine. Unless it's an outrageous expense, if he does, he can come back and propose a different amount.
The higher limits typically aren't that much more expensive.
And you would know, yeah. We got somebody in the insurance.
Insurance
industry. So I would suggest that we do 1 million per occurrence, 5 million aggregate.
5 million aggregate?
Yes,
Oh,
and then 500,000 deductible.
Think about it, you might have in an event,
Five
where
people.
there is an, injury or there could be multiple people.
Yeah.
yes, they could,
And so that could rack up your aggregate pretty quick.
okay, and so we're gonna have a 500K deductible.
I
Is that what
think
you
he
said?
said million,
500K?
million with 5 million ag.
And
Yes, but he said
Unless he could-
500K.
Yeah, unless he shows us that, that's completely cost prohibitive.
Okay.
Or he gets some, he may come back and say, I get 2 million, 4 million, then would that work? And I think we've got to look at that and say, okay,
And you suggested a $500,000 deductible or 250?
oh, deductible on that,
You said 500K, just.
Well, that's because
Okay,
I
you thought that's
started
what he
to
said.
but
Oh, no, when he,
the insurance company, I don't really worry about what the deductible is. I only worry about the limits of coverage.
and that's what.
That's usually a negotiating term between the.
the two parties.
Yeah. And I never worry about that either, because that depends on how much you wanna pay for the cost of insurance.
Yeah.
Unless, Mark, do you have any suggestions?
Well, typically, you don't see that large deductible in a liability policy. I would recommend significantly less than that, and just, you can have them compare the costs, and show you the cost analysis. Because I don't think it's gonna be that much time.
Or we just leave that blank,
What I'm actually saying, let's eliminate any,
reference to the.
reference to deductible and really just deal with what their coverage is.
Yeah.
That's really what we're concerned
And
about.
that's what I'm used to.
Okay, so then we would delete those last, take out that line that says, and shall have a deductible not to exceed, just delete that language.
Yeah, correct.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so,
I also, there is, this was a bleed through, and Spencer put this together, but I guess I must not got there, the reference to the effect of eminent domain, and
Where's that?
We own the property, so there's no eminent domain, so paragraph 24 can be deleted in its entirety. Anybody condemning, the town will be condemning its own property.
Okay,
Technically, the state could probably condemn it, or the federal government. That's what when I worked, I had the same thing, and then I thought, well, we own it, but the state could come in and do it, couldn't they?
Yeah.
They can.
but I'll take it.
You know, that, in that regard, let's just keep it in, it's,
Considering it's next to BLM land, I'd like to keep it in.
okay.
You want me to keep it
I'd
up?
like to keep it in.
Keep it in, because there is a
Oh, you wanna keep
possibility
in
where
the.
eminent domain could happen, because state or federal government could.
Okay, so we're gonna leave this in paragraph 24.
I know in our previous discussion about the BMX track, when our meeting 121-25, I just read the minutes, and there were concerns about dust and noise and lights. And there wasn't any mention of that in this, that I saw. I wonder if we need to say anything about.
Yeah, we're happy to put affirmative covenant, in there with regards to specific things. They do have to operate it in compliance with
Town code.
town ordinances.
Oh,
But if you would like a specific call out on something like dust mitigation or light pollution, you know, lighting compliance and stuff like that, we can specifically include that.
We probably should, there's, as part of this grant that we got to update stuff, BMX track, they're putting in new lights that comply with the code, but we probably should have something in there that says it needs to comply with the code, just in case, because what can happen in the future.
Well, well, part of that grant is to bring it within compliance of our new code.
Correct,
So
That's what the lighting-
it's gonna take them a little bit of time to do that.
correct. And,
so I know we haven't had much compliance with dust control in town with anything, so you might want to
We put it in.
point that out.
so you'll have Spencer add in the
Yeah,
thing
we'll
on
add
that.
2 paragraphs of affirmative covenant.
So if he does that, then I suppose he could go ahead and fill in the 1 million and the 5 million. And then we'll wait and see, and to delete the language about the deductible. And, then we will see if he comes back with a different proposal on the insurance policy.
Good.
Or if he can manage that through USA BMX.
Yep.
Anything else? On the BMX lease?
So do you wanna go ahead and approve it, or do you wanna wait till the changes are made and bring it back?
I would say let's go ahead and approve it with the changes, and then I can just send it over to him as soon as I get a copy. And have him review it, and they'll call and make calls on insurance, well, I can have him start
Yeah,
that right now.
he just needs to call
He can
USA
call.
BMX
Okay.
and, or get on their website and find out what members get as far as coverage for BMX groups. who are
And then-
registered.
So then with those, assuming that, I would like to be able to go ahead and sign that, 'cause he's been desperate to get a lease agreement.
I'm fine with that, as long as you're fine with me putting in provisions for lighting and mitigation.
There was lighting, that's noise,
Satisfaction.
and noise. Mark and Paul,
I move,
go to make a motion, okay?
I move for approval of the BMX track lease agreement with the following amendments is that the county attorney will have affirmative covenants for respect to noise, noise and dust control, and a time frame to bring the lights into compliance with our new lighting ordinance. And inserting $1 million per occurrence and $5 million aggregate on paragraph 8B with respect to
Liability insurance.
yeah, and eliminate the language concerning the deductible.
And the only amendment I would say, or observation. He said a time limit on which they need to comply with the new lighting ordinance. The grant that we got from the state, which is where we're coming up with the money to do all this, we've got 2 years to finish to complete the grant. We think it's gonna only take us 1 year to do everything, but I just wonder if we should say 1 year or what? Just because of how long it's gonna take us to
That's,
do everything.
let's get the tenant on board with that, if that's a condition of the grant.
That's what,
I think 2 year, I mean, maybe it'd be nicer to give them a little bit more amortization, but let's.
If the grant's 2 years, then we should do it to the term of the grant, 2 years, because they're about ready to head into the racing season now.
right,
And so the construction season will be in
After that.
between, yeah.
I'll second that.
all right. All in favor?
Yes.
Okay. All right, this is the last item before we go into our closed meeting. And this is the stormwater drainage master plan. We had already, put in our budget for the stormwater plans in the budget for next year. And, we got the proposals, we went through the proposals, we awarded the, stormwater drainage master plan study to Sunrise. And now they have sent us a contract for us to sign. And so, this is their contract to do the stormwater study, and I felt I put it on here for us to approve. I didn't feel that I should just go ahead and sign it, even though we put it in the budget and awarded the study to them. I felt that I still need to give the town council to authorize me to sign the contract. So that's what this is about. Any discussion, any comment from the public about our stormwater drainage master plan study?
So is everything in this, I didn't study it closely, but is it all the same as was in their proposal? As far as like the fee schedule and project schedule, things like that?
I am not sure in their proposal just how much detail they have on all the work that they're doing. It's, the figure is the same. I would expect that it is similar to, very similar to their proposal. They probably just pulled the pages right out of their proposal to put in with the contract. Yeah.
Of the Virgin Stormwater Drainage Master Plan Study Contract with Sunrise Engineering, authorize the mayor to sign said agreement. So long as that agreement conforms with their approved proposal. Does that cover it?
Yes, it does. I'll second that.
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay. All right, then at this point, the next item on the agenda, approve the settlement agreement, requires us to go to a closed meeting and then we'll come back and vote to approve the settlement agreement. So,
And we can have multiple items if you want to discuss.
in the closed meeting, yes, I was just about to get to that.
Yeah.
So,
I have, an ordinance here banning fireworks in my.
that is the meeting that's at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
That is fine.
So we've got an hour to have our closed meeting and then come back and vote on that word, vote on these and that ordinance.
Are you kicking us out or something?
I'm kicking it out, I'm about to look up the code section on what we need to say for our closed meeting.
But thank you for coming.
Yes.
Yes,
Guys,
you guys just need to come more often,
I know, I fully agree.
okay?
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Mike, I haven't seen you very much at all.
I know, it's pathetic, but try to get better. Thanks.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
so
we've got-
code provisions.
I'm about to look it up. Suddenly had a. Couldn't remember my exactly how to type my password.
Fifty-two for. You all five.
Yes, hold on just a minute. My computer is in the process of doing that. Okay, so we have A, we have A.
And litigation.
C. And the third is, you think A also? If so, that's fine.
What are we looking at? Open vote meetings, reason?
Yeah, we're looking at, we've got three things to talk about in the closed meeting. And I was looking at what would be the reason for,
A and C.
where's, do you still have that email I gave you? Where's the email I have you? What is that? So what section would that be? Because we're going to decide if they're this year's budget or next year's budget. That's what we copy.
Oh, okay.
With regards to the settlement agreement is C, with regards to one C, with regards to.
Town manager is 1A, and we just don't know what this one's going to be.
The combination one A, which is,
He thinks it's a combination of A and C. Paul is arguing that the thing with you is a combination of both A and C.
Yeah, I agree with it.
Okay,
To just cite both of those, we have 3 items and it's gonna be under
these two codes, okay, all right. So I need a motion to close the open meeting and go into a closed meeting. For the reasons we just said, Paul, I'm gonna have you make the motion since you know which code sections we're talking about.
can I move that we, go into a closed meeting, so we'll close the open meeting and then we're a closed meeting. Pursuant to 52-4-205, parens 1, parens 1, parens A, parens, to discuss, character, professional competence, and, an individual, and then also C, to discuss, pending a reasonable and litigation.
And what location is this
On
on?
location of the year adult church at, 7 o'clock,
Okay. I need a second.
I'll second it.
So we have to do a roll call vote, so I'll start with April.
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Jean, yes, Misty,
Yes.
and Valerie.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so Crystal can terminate that. And after